Hello and welcome to the Farmers Union pregame show. I'm Ken Oda. Noah Grant is alongside. We're getting you ready for the Minotauros home opener tonight. Toros against the hated Aberdeen Wings. And Noah, not just because it's the start of a new hockey season, but because we got that sort of false start with the showcase, 20 days off. I am just excited to finally be playing hockey again.
Well, and an opponent that the Toros saw quite a bit at the end of the regular season in the second half last year. And as you know, obviously, when Scott Langer and company come to town, the Wings are definitely a formidable challenge. They're actually below 500 right now, 3-4, so they're looking to try to kind of bounce back in their own respect here. And the Toros are just trying to make sure that they shake off the rust quickly, get up to speed, and hopefully feed off this home crowd, which should be electric.
Certainly, and you know, I mentioned at the top, the showcase, the Toros had a good showing at the showcase, left Blaine, Minnesota a few weeks ago, tied for first place in the Central Division with the Austin Bruins, 3-1-0 at the showcase, a fantastic showing, won the first 3 games, ran out of gas on the last day. That's not uncommon at the showcase. Those games are always on Saturday kind of sloppy, kind of messy. It really just comes down to who can find a couple of dirty goals. I actually thought that may have been the best game the Toros played. Hit 3 posts, had another that somehow went through the blue paint but didn't make it over the blue line, and lost 2-1. It was a good game overall.
Yeah, certainly was, and a good showcase, like you mentioned. They start off hot 2-0, and as you've alluded to on the website, it's only been one time in Toro history they went 4-0 at this showcase, so they had a really good start. 3-0, you kind of wonder if the hope is there, and like you said, running out of gas in a game that they really had very poor puck luck. They probably should have won that hockey game, but I think a couple things that you take away from the showcase. Number one, all tight hockey games. It wasn't like they were blowouts. They were all competitive, and also a shootout in there as well too, where a couple of guys have never seen that before. So getting them up to speed, feeling kind of the pressure of extra hockey, so to speak. I think it was a really good mix. A bit unfortunate, I guess, a little bit that you had 2 weeks off, but at the same time, Cody Campbell alluded to it in the Toros Tribune Live the other day that it was a good time for rest, recuperation, and some great team bonding. And I don't know if it's just me, Ken. Maybe it's just because of the hype of the fact that we're finally into Central Division play, but already it kind of feels like there's something special about this team coming out of the gate.
It certainly does. You look at that group, and I think one of the other things that we learned on Wednesday's Tribune Live, which fans can go check out on Facebook and YouTube, but was what I liked about Cody's interview was he said that Saturday game, that even though the group was 3-1, one of, I think, only a couple of teams that performed that well at the showcase, they were still disappointed getting on the bus Saturday after that loss. And you know, obviously, you'd like to see that. I think a big key to this season's success is going to be having a group that doesn't like to lose. So seeing the guys, it would have been easy to get on the bus and like, hey, we're 3-1, one of our best performances at the showcase ever, but instead they got on the bus angry that they lost that last game. So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited to, like you said, to get into Central Division play finally, and get a look at this group. I think there's a lot of good to come, and I think let's go right into players to watch. My first guy is Trevor Stahoyak. He's going into season number 4, I believe, here in Minot. He'll be possibly tying the record for games played by a Toro a month from now in Aberdeen, and breaking that record on the Saturday night game. So for him, his last home opener as a Toro, I'm expecting to see a lot out of him tonight. Yeah,
certainly, and obviously, funny enough, my other one is the co-captain on the team, Weston Knox, who had a 3-point weekend. It feels like eons ago now, like we just mentioned in Blaine. But those two guys, a formidable duo, one a forward, one a defenseman. And I think when you have like a multifaceted approach, both these guys able to bring offense, I think maybe Weston Knox actually might be the more offensive player out of the two. Trevor Stahoyak, a little more grit, a little bit more.
He did have 3 assists at the showcase as well, did Trevor?
Well, you know, I suppose in your first year you start to find that production, hopefully, and maybe he's going to be one of those guys that emerges as the team leader. But really great pieces for both of them, by the way, in the Toros Tribune Live and in the actual digital magazine as well, too. So fans can get a chance to check that out this week, too. But I think when you think about both of these guys as co-captains, there's a lot of respect in that locker room for these guys, and I don't think that either of them need a letter on their sweater to be a leader on the forward or back end, and I'm really excited to see how they grow and help nurture some of these young guys who there's quite a few new faces on this Toro roster that I hope will make a really big impact.
You mentioned that those two guys are standout players, and you know, it's not just within our team or our division. I was here last week for the Minot State Beavers home opener. I was talking to a guy from Liberty, one of their players, actually a former Toro, Reed Bogenholm. First thing he said to me is, wow, that Weston Knox is a really good player for you guys. And those are not players who overlapped here. Reed's been gone for a couple of seasons. So, Knox's reputation, not just within, like I said, within our locker room or within the division, it's around the entire hockey world.
Yeah, absolutely. And you kind of talk about the division too, right? This Aberdeen team coming in as well too, like we mentioned, 3-4. I mean, you have Austin at 5-1, who is going to be a formidable challenge in a couple of weeks. Bismarck having a really good season, 5-3 to start the year. St. Cloud, middle of the pack, 3-2-2, and then Minot, of course, 3-1, like we talked about in North Iowa. Another sluggish start for them, which is actually slightly uncharacteristic. They usually
They've been
do
starting
well.
good and fading, and they'll be our opponent next weekend, our first real road trip of the season. So it'll be interesting to see what they have. I'm sure they're going to want to bounce back. I believe they're off this weekend, so they're going to want to get back on the good side of the ledger there. Yeah,
certainly will. And Ken, maybe home key group keys to the game here next for us. It's obviously going to be a big test for these new Toros entering in from familiar faces and unfamiliar faces that get their first taste here at the Pepsi rink at Mesa Arena. What do you have here for Friday night?
My first home key group keys of the game would be energy. Right off the bat, it's been 20 days since this group has played a game. They should have plenty of energy, but there is a difference between game level competition and practice, and it doesn't matter how hard they went in practice. The Aberdeen Wings, I think, have a little bit of an edge at the start of the game. They've been playing in the division already. They've played the last couple of weekends. They're up to speed. Our guys need to feed off the energy in this building, feed off the crowd, and get up to speed quickly, because we've seen this with this Wings team before. They'll score early, and they're not going to take their foot off the gas. So the Toros got to find the energy to start.
Yeah, absolutely. And my counterpoint to that, I think my key to the game here on the other side is discipline. When you have this Aberdeen Wings team come in, they bring the physicality, they're going to bring the grit. They like to get into kind of a chirping match sometimes. So being able on the other side to make sure you stay within yourself, don't take penalties, try to capitalize on that special teams battle, and hopefully you're not in the box, and the Aberdeen Wings are.
Yeah, and my final home key group keys of the game would be fun. Have fun. This is a fun game. This is a fun atmosphere to play in. I think, we saw it a little bit at the showcase. Guys like Chad Muller, he loves to play. He's physical.
Yep.
He's obviously leading the team in points as well. So go out, have fun, play your game, and you only get a few years to play junior hockey. And to get to do it in a place like this building, when it's packed with 2,000 people in here going nuts, have fun and enjoy it.
Absolutely would agree, Ken. It should be a good one, and I can't wait. Hopefully the fans bring the energy tonight here at the Pepsi rink at Mesa Arena.
That'll do it for the Farmers Union pregame show. I'm Ken Oda, that's Noah Grant. We'll turn you over to Ben Lifto and the starting lineups.